Yo guys, what's up? Back into the haystack of Bronze League heroes strategies. We're looking to learn here. Viable against Miko looks like a great match to jump into. A little under 800 MMR. These guys are duking it out in the best RTS in the world, Warcraft 3. They may not be on top of the stack in terms of MMR, but they're very keen to play and give it their all, and we love to see it here. So it's going to be Miko in the purple as the elf on the bottom right. He's going to go for, on the bottom right, the bottom right. He's going to be going for an altar into Moonwells, full wall off on this right side. Heroes cannot pass by this area, only by this area. Then he's going to bring out his Wisp and make an Ancient of War. The Ancient of War has some gaps around it, so there can be some traffic to the back of the base. This is a very early Ancient of War that can lead to early archer production, but if you don't follow a specific build order, your second Moonwell won't actually be on time to have effortless back-to-back archer production. And we can see that Miko is not too concerned with build orders as he needs more wisps, but isn't currently making them. I think he momentarily got disturbed by a family member, as he probably has build orders out the wazoo. But someone was asking him, do you know where you put our Sega Game Gear? And he said, Game Gear? That's kind of rather an old device. Don't you mean Nintendo Switch? And then the brother said, oh yeah, that's what I meant, ha ha ha. And then he said, ha ha ha. And then he looked back, he's like, oh damn it, I have missed 20 seconds on my build order cycle. Still 4 wisps in gold. Might be looking to save for a rainy day. And I think that, oh, there we go. He filled up the gold mine. All right. So Archer, Demon under production, and actually, because of the lack of wisp production, he can now make double back-to-back archers.
Okie dokie.
So the mistake.
Greetings from my dog Boomer.
We wanted to call our dog Boomer too, because of Battlestar Galactica. That's an awesome name. We ended up not going forward with it because we thought it could be like. You tell me if that's true or not, Bacon. Anytime you shout for your dog, Boomer, across the street, do people ever give you weird looks? Like in this geopolitically charged age, you know, with but I think it's such a cute term. I guess it's really fine. But I thought, what if we ever go like fly with our dog and I'm like, Boomer, will I go to the second check for some chocolate starfish inspection just to punish me? So Miko only has the one archer. He decided to catch up on wisp production and fill his supply with archers. Let's go check out what Viable is doing. Viable is going for a Dreadlord first, Rod of Necromancy, Skull of Blight. He has an Acolyte Scout that's checking out what's going on. Miko is gonna make, what is he gonna make? Hunter's Hall, third Moonwell? Of course, Hunter's Hall. Yep. Hunter's Hall, War Mill, Graveyard, Blacksmith. These 4 buildings are the biggest build order mistake Bronze League heroes make. They get it because they got money, but they don't feel the need to tech fast. Viable is gonna creep this with 3 ghouls. He has gone for a sleep on the Kobold Taskmaster. Could bring an Acolyte and go for a fast expansion. He certainly has the setup for it. This is how I play. I go Dreadlord Fast Expo because I feel like people let you get away with it a lot. And the thing is, they are letting him get away with it. This guy is super passive, tier 1, Hunter's Hall, at home, no scout. If Viable expanded and made 6 towers, not only would he have money forever, but he would also have mental advantage. And he is in fact gonna expand. I don't see a lot of tier 1 expansion in Bronze. The race that does it best, Human, never does it in Bronze. They always go for the tier 2 expansion because it's too finicky, it's too risky to them. But Viable is doing it. He's gone for the gold mine, and then he could build 2 ziggurats, maybe 1 or 2. Let's see what he goes for. And he has another Acolyte coming. I think he had another Acolyte in production. Should be and could be having lots of ghouls in production, right? The lumber needs are certainly there. The military needs are certainly there. At the moment, not making anything. Back to Miko. Miko is still creeping. He's going for archers and huntresses. If I am going to be copying one of their builds, this is the one that my heart goes towards. I've always had a soft spot for unit mixing, like Grunt Headhunter Archer Huntress Ghoul Fiend at tier 1. And that's because it's the underdog way to play. Usually the better, more effective way is to stick to one unit type. Just because they can all do the same thing. If you have... Oh, that Huntress is gonna hurt. If you have only ranged units, then you can use the advantage of range without being hit back. If you have only melee units, you can surround. It's the combination of ranged and melee that gives you the worst of both worlds. You can always be hit because you're nearby. But you can't surround because not all your units are melee. So I like mass Huntresses, I like mass Archers. Not usually the mixture, but it's pretty cool to have both. It's more difficult to micro as well. So Miko, he crept his camp about as well as you can expect. He was relying on the level up from the Demon Hunter to tank more. Did lose a Troll Priest to the creeps, as he doesn't know about aggro toggling with an attack issue command. Looks like Viable is following Insign's strategy from the previous Bronze League Hero cast. If you have a Dreadlord and you have Periapt to Vitality and Vampiric Aura, then idle and base for 1.5 minutes. This is known. There's something about Vampiric and Periapt that makes Dreadlords really complacent and lazy. We've got 5 Acolytes on the gold mine. Nerubian Tower there. Double Crypt Graveyard, same as Insign. This looks like the dominant strategy sweeping the Bronze League Hero ranks. If you play Dreadlord and you find Periapt to Vitality, you won't be bronze for long. As long as you get your 2-2 upgrades on Gargs. But let's see if that's what Viable is going to be going for. Second Ghoul lost to creeps. So right now the score between them, even though they haven't met, the score between them is 2-2. 2 Acolyte. Actually, it's 3-1 for Elf. Elf is leading by 3-1. He killed an Acolyte and he killed 2 Ghouls. He just doesn't know it. It was done via mental pressure and through proxy of the creeps. So Miko lost 1 Priest, but the Undead lost 2 Ghouls and an Acolyte. That's gonna be a mana burn. This Dreadlord looks really vulnerable. You have to kill him. Get him! Get the Dreadlord! He has 1 Illusion Wand stack as well. That means that he has left a copy of the Illusion of Dreadlord at home with his army. I can't believe he's letting the Dreadlord get away. Is sleep level 2 important? It's a mana reduction upgrade, so it can be quite nice, but it's less important than Vampiric or Carrion Swarm upgrades. Miko is still creeping. He has reached tier 2. He has 1 lore and is wondering if he should make another. Huntress Dryad, 2nd lore. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm gonna copy Miko's build after this and improve it. Got Fiend production coming out now. I'm glad I saw this. This is how he upgraded in his graveyard. It's like the part of the piano performance that's the least impressive mechanically, but always has people clapping. They play The Winter by Vivaldi, and then it's like, oh, okay, that's pretty good. And then they do, and be like, yeah! He rolled his hand on the keyboard. He pressed every key. Bold of you to think he's using a keyboard. Yeah, you might. Yeah, that's true. He might be clicking icons actually. All right, tier 3 is coming out. He's getting every single upgrade: creature attack, creature armor, and then ghoul attack, unholy strength, unholy armor. This expo is doing wonderfully. I wonder how Miko would feel once he realizes his opponent took an expansion, if he realizes it. Is this something he will remedy in his future gameplay? Or is that just part of life? Something that you can't... You know, that's just life. There's not much you can do about it. Solid creeping. Miko's gonna get level 4 too. Quite powerful. He doesn't currently have Frost Arrow turned on. And that's something that's easy to forget to turn on. I don't know if he'll turn it on once the fight begins. He is also still at tier 2. He's getting bear upgrades, but no tier 3. No Dryad upgrades either. So Miko isn't really headed towards anything late game, anything powerful. He's got lots of resources, no expansion, no tier 3, no unit, and no upgrade. It's gonna be really tough for him. His hero levels are good, but he's only now finally going for tier 3. And headed over 50 population with the bear. Meanwhile, Viable, also over 50 pop. He's flooding units, ghouls and fiends. Has a panda second hero. I've done this before. Undead against human. It's quite nice. Carrion Swarm Fire Breath. Very good against flying machines. It means that you can go air units against undead. Like Frostworm or gargoyles, destroyers. Like Mass Destroyer, Carrion Swarm Fire Breath. Pretty good build against human. You kill everything on the ground. Flying machines normally counter you, but you got Swarm Fire Breath. He's not playing against human though. Not going to be as good against Carrion Swarm. Against the Dryads, which are magic immune. Nico is getting more bears. It has also started an expansion. I wonder if he could catch up. Double Slaughterhouse by Viable. I think he's going to get Abominations. Expecting a couple of ghoul losses here. He has no coil and not much micro, so... This Granite Golem is going to do pretty good. That's 2 ghouls. 3. That's 4. I think he's going to lose all of his ghouls. 5 ghouls. I hope he doesn't lose the Fiend. That would be a big loss for him. That's 6 ghouls and 7. Alright, good. Not the Fiend though, lucky for him. So overall, 7 ghouls, not a small price to pay. But he gets a very valuable camp. And a Cloak of Flames. Miko now has a really important comeback potential. Although Viable has had an expansion for so long, Miko just lost 7 units, which is 120 gold per unit. So that's... let me see. I'm just going to use a calculator if you guys don't mind. 840 gold. On upkeep, you get 1200 gold times 0.7, 840. Yeah, he lost exactly 1 minute worth of mining time from 2 gold mines. So those 7 ghoul losses gained Miko 1 minute. That's going to give him a chance to get his expansion up and running, get his master training up and running. By now he's gone for upgrades. He's got 1 attack upgrade, soon another armor and a second attack upgrade. Hasn't been doing any creeping in the last 2 minutes or so. He's just been idling. So we watched him creep like a maniac in the first couple of minutes, and then it just dropped off. Viable has gone for Temple of the Damned. Interesting. Temple, mass ghouls, and statues. What I assume is going to be destroyers, but he hasn't got the upgrade yet, if I'm not mistaken. There it is. Upgrade is locked behind a supply block statue. No ziggurats in production. He finally becomes aware of it. Makes 1 ziggurat. 2 ziggurats, okay. His ghoul's currently not gathering lumber, even though he's at a deficit. Burrow upgrade, fiends. Doing a little bit of idling himself. Miko hasn't moved in the last minute. He's waiting for more units. He's managing his expansion. Even though he's got 2,000 lumber, and realistically he should just take 5 wisps from the main. He's making new wisps. In Miko's mind, it is important for new colonies to become self-sustaining soon. If, for instance, Miko was the leader of a Martian expedition to populate Mars, he would not be keeping up trade routes between Earth and Mars, because it would make Mars a necessary subsidiary of Earth, with Earth's hegemony continuing to reign supreme and loom over Mars and their divine birthright as now first-generation Martians. So he would definitely start mining operations nearby to become self-sustaining as quickly as possible. No Belta Loda for him. We've got Viable continuing to get upgrades. Oh my god, he's getting the 3rd melee attack upgrade. Those ghouls are going to be insane. However, bears are naturally just a stronger unit against a ghoul than a ghoul against the bear. And even against fiends, bears should do quite well as well. Now that Miko has a base and 72 pop, much of that early advantage that I thought Viable was going to have has evaporated, because Viable has kept mining and producing very simple units. Whereas I thought he was going to go for Frostworms and Abomination, he really likes his tier 1 units. A fight breaks out. Miko has Mana Burn. He's going to use it. Bam. Scroll the Beast on Fiends, instantly destroying a bear. But the Dreadlord drops real low. He has Invulnerability Potion, but he doesn't use it. Miko expertly assassinates the Dreadlord before Viable could even respond. His Panda has been surrounded and will also go down. Huge plays by Miko, patient play. Who could have seen this coming? Miko's Healing Ward is also completely playing a huge role, and it is impossible for Viable to cancel them. He finally cancels the Healing Ward, but he hasn't got much left. Oh, bro! This could be huge! A Fiend ambush from behind might just be what he needs to get back into this game. His statues, the all-inspiring vanguard of the Undead army, are running away. He rebuys his heroes at small price of just 1,000 gold. And he runs back into his own base, producing mass ghouls. Mass ghouls with 3-1 upgrades. There might still be a way back for him. No, the Panda! Huge assassination. Miko takes him down with his Dryad slowing the Panda. Viable now will need to idle for a little bit in his base, trying to lick his wounds and get back into it. He drinks a mana potion in base, drops his Potion of Lesser Invulnerability to make space for the time being. Hasn't picked it up yet though. This could have a funny consequence if Demon Hunter runs in, books it, and picks it up. Viable thinks himself safe, but is he? The furious pace of Miko's gameplay is overwhelming Viable. His Necromancer tech hasn't completely come to fruition yet. Unholy Frenzy Dreadlord, there is a pot there. Will the demon see it? He mana burns the Necromancer. Is he gonna see the Invulnerability Potion and take it? One bear has gone down. He's gonna take the pot? Not yet. He's just killing Necromancers. What pot? Say both players. Rejuvenation on the bear. There it is. The Dreadlord got the pot as he knew he would. No problem. No problem at all. This time he's going to be acutely aware of the existence of Invulnerability Potion. Surely he's going to use it this time before he dies. No, he's not. It just happened so fast. One thing led to another. And before you know it, health dropped to 0. Wow. 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 Wow, that was great. That was a great game. Awesome. What a game. Yeah. I didn't think that Miko could make the comeback against Viable like that, but he played very patiently, made his expansion, made the right units, and once his lightning attack began, it just wouldn't let up. Viable had no time to tech switch. I'm sure he would have loved to go for Frostworms, but he didn't feel he had the time, because Miko was in hot pursuit, so Viable went for the 12 Ghoul Remax. That seemed like a really strong strategy. I'm gonna copy that elf build. What an inspiration for a build, yeah. Does Invul remove Frenzy? Yes, it does. Did you ever play an RTS with exhaustion mechanic? Less damage? Oh, interesting. No, yeah, I did actually. Total War Warhammer 3 has an exhaustion mechanic, doesn't it? Essentially, in Total War Warhammer 3, when your units take damage, regiments in the unit stack diminish. And then essentially you do less damage. So I guess I have, yeah. I think it's an interesting concept that has a place, definitely.
Insufficient gold.
So far, great results with his build. Let's try again. I think he was AFK, that's why, probably. Does feedback mana burn affect spell immune units like Dryads? It does not. Are we gonna stop producing Wisps to build the Archer? Yeah, when I copy bronze builds, I slightly improve them. I was thinking of idling. You know how in sports like tennis players get fined for not trying hard enough tanking? Have you ever seen such a thing in esports? Do you mean like tennis players that bounce the ball and think, bounce the ball and think, that kind of thing, and then they get fined for stalling? Is that what you mean? Or do you mean before the game begins? This was the guy that was the Archmage Fast expansion in the other Bronze League Heroes game implementation. Like someone in the tournament giving up? Oh, we had a very interesting situation at World Cyber Games 2005. There were two players, a South American player.
I haven't played this game in 20 years, but I enjoy watching your YouTube videos.
Thank you, Tier 3 squad. Appreciate it. Yeah, it's a very chill game to play and to watch, isn't it? So there was a very interesting moment at World Cyber Games 2005 in Singapore. There was a Norwegian player and a South American player. They were both Night Elves. And they were playing for the... They had already played well enough to advance from the group. It was a 6-player best-of-1 group with the 2 best players advancing. Both players were destined to advance. However, the winner between them, which was the final match to be played, would become rank 1 in the group. And the way that this tournament was built up was, if you are rank 1 in Group A, you will meet Group G, rank 2 player. And that group was already done playing. You could see the results. And you could see how this could be an issue, because players can actually decide if they think the Group G rank 1 or 2 player are better opponents for them. Ideally, tournaments create rules to prevent you from being able to make such a decision where you could look at things and say, it seems like I have the incentive to lose. You never want to give players incentive to lose. Of course, there are always rules against throwing games and giving up on purpose. But I believe in 3 things when it comes to rules. First, you must make a very good, robust rule set that that creates situations where players are not incentivized to throw. Then you have rules that say no throwing. And then you need to have reinforcement of those rules. The combination of those things is what makes a robust and good tournament rule setup. So they didn't have those things. So the 2 players realized if they win their match against each other, whoever wins it, to be clear, they're gonna have to play against Fav. Fav is a Korean Undead player, and there are Undead players, there are non-Undead players, and then there are Korean Undead players, which is a completely different concept. Korean Undead players are a different breed. They did not want to play against Fav. Less than a year before FOF had, or a bit more than a year before FOF had won the ESWC, a little over a year ago, and he was very strong and dangerous. So they reasoned out with themselves, don't we both want to lose this match? And they agreed they both wanted to lose. It was so obvious to both of them. Neither of them wanted to face FOF. So they recognized they don't have any incentive to win. So then they said, because they were friends as well, right? Then they said, well, how are we going to determine this game? Are we both just going to try to alt GG, like alt QQ as fast as possible? That's kind of silly. So they thought of an ingenious, but a little bit risky and creative solution. They said, how about we step to the admin, the referee, we explain our problem.
Can I send you a copy of WC3 to sign? Serious.
As much as I would like to help you with that, I'm not going to give out my address for something like that. So if we ever met, 100%, no problem. I would want to do that for you, Sprite06. I also don't have a PO box, in case you were wondering. So anyways, yeah, ask me again after the game, Banana Be Good, and we'll talk about that. So they went to the admin and said, look, we both have an incentive to lose. And we don't want to cheat the system. It would just be a race to the bottom to quit the game as fast as possible. How about you allow us to play the game, and whoever wins earns the right to GG out first. And it's an honor code, and we observe the honor. The referee agreed. They could have done this without referee involvement, right? But I guess they really just wanted to play it safe and made sure everything is above board so that there's no weird replay investigation. The referee actually agreed to their creative solution, which is something that I don't think would probably happen in 2024 anymore, but this was early grassroots, and both players were thinking cooperatively. Collaboratively, I should say, rather. And in a fair way.
Our sacred grove
And
is
so
being
this is how it came to pass. One of the players won. Said the loser said GG. And then the winner left. So that not only did they have the gentleman's agreement,
standing by.
but they actually they had the replay to prove it as well. Like the person that left the replay really was,
Grove is being desecrated.
it was correct. So I thought that was really interesting and creative.
Make it fast.
It worked out.
Our warriors have engaged a standing guard.
Sounds like a rule issue. It's 100% a rule issue. I think I made that clear, right? It is a rule issue. Because many times tournament admins cannot foresee all the different situations. You have to be a pro player to understand them. Like, I have tried so many tournament organizations to help make their rules better, but who am I? I'm not their esports consultant. I'm not on the payroll. I'm just a player, a concerned citizen, if you will. And usually they don't even appreciate it because they just think you're making things difficult. But all you're doing is to highlight potential issues in the future that could lead to problems like this. So I have that experience. I have that, let's say, I'm thinking about those things.
I goddess light my
That's a lot of rings.
speak your mind. Your building is in time.
They could let the winner choose. Well, that's how they did it.
I walk in
That's what happened.
standing guard.
I mean, there's many ways to improve the rules.
Make it fast. Your building is in time. I grow anxious. In position. Speak your mind. How it standing guard. Research station.
No, focus my demon. Focus my demon hunter. I need mana shield fast. Good.
Make it fast.
Just in time. GG. Could have also given all the rings to Naga. I wonder, right? How does mana shield and rings of protection function? She's taking 15 damage per hit from demon. 15 mana per hit. How about without rings?
The great outdoors.
Still 15. So I guess it's just like Medusa in Dota 2 in that it doesn't interact at all. Interesting. So it almost feels like Dota, not Dota. Dota is, I don't know what Dota is. Who says Dota? It almost feels like Dota may have copied that behavior from Warcraft 3. But that couldn't possibly be. That just doesn't seem logical at all. GG.
Research finished.
I wonder why they're the same. I don't know. If you know, let me know in the comments.